All right, y'all. So I feel like recently we've been focusing on some of the issues that are going on with Gekishin Squadra. And I think it's, very important to raise those kind of topics up just for the priority of the community, of course. But I think today I want to focus on some of the positives that I feel like are within the game, and more specifically, character balance and the meta of the game as a whole. I mean, I've said this quite a few times, but I think that the meta in this game is actually quite healthy, way healthier than you would expect it to be. I feel like a lot of games in the past that at least I play with PvP aspects are unbalanced, or there's like a clear, definitive like few best characters and few worst characters. I think that this game is a little muddled with that, where there's not really a specific character that I would point out and say that they're outright bad. I think that the good thing about this game that I really, really like is if you take the time and dedication to a character that you prefer playing in this game, even if they're, I think, overall unfavorable by the community. Let's say a character like, Bojack. I'm personally not a fan of Bojack. A lot of people don't like this guy, or maybe even Piccolo got buffed, so that's a little different with him. But still, I think that you could take any character here and then do really well with them if you know how to play the game and you know how the character works, right? So that's really awesome, and I think it is a really healthy start to this game. Then I also want to mention I will be talking about Super Saiyan 3 Goku a bit, but I will also have a video separately with someone else talking with me about Super Saiyan 3 Goku and his impact on the game, and whether or not he does need to be nerfed or how he might have to be adjusted. And that is in the works, so that will be coming out. But again, I will be focusing just generally on the entire cast of characters themselves, and I'll be highlighting a few characters that I also think should either receive buffs or nerfs, right? Just let's say like 2-3 standout characters that I think need to be adjusted in this video. So again, if there's anything that you guys are just like really enjoying about the game in terms of the meta, or even just in general, let me know in the comment section below. I would love to go ahead and read that and just spread some nice little good energy throughout the community. I think it's very much needed right now, specifically too. So I mean, really, let's just go by, I think, each of the roles. So I think the one I really wanted to highlight here is technical. I think the technical role is very, very, very well done. All of these characters feel so distinct and unique from each other. And on top of that, I would say most of the characters here are very good. The only character that I think would need some sort of buff in terms of this technical role is Majin Buu. I think Majin Buu is unfortunately just a little, like a bit behind, honestly, a lot of these characters. And I feel like a lot of these characters you could argue are like top tier in the technical role. I think all of them are, honestly, except for Majin Buu. Now, the biggest issue with Majin Buu is I feel like a lot of his skills are just not powerful enough, and he's not just contributing enough to the match that I think will kind of help out. And he has this like little debuff here that will increase the damage dealt by rush attacks. I think this maybe could be like his passive skill could have been a little stronger in that regard. Maybe he just increases the general damage done, or like Kid Gohan, for example. We take a look at Kid Gohan here. This guy does increase attack up specifically, so all damage that is dealt by your characters is increased by quite a bit, and he even buffs his own defense. Majin Buu kind of doesn't really do much for himself. I think it leads him to be a bit squishy, especially early on. The healing rate could be really good, but you have to be like right with your opponent, with your ally, and sometimes that might not be a thing that will always be applicable. If Buu is ever by himself, he's very dangerous in the sense that it is very dangerous that he can't protect himself. I think most characters like that are technical have really good evasive maneuvers. You have this, but This move also kind of just sucks, honestly. They nerfed this move as well. It used to apply no skills. I don't think that was really needed. The kanji rate could be overall good, but if anything, I think it's more annoying than like oppressive. The healing is nice, right? But his best move is probably the strangle gum. Applying attack down and movement speed down is nice. And the one thing though is that you have to hit the enemy multiple times with this. I think it should just be a one-time usage, probably just like a big fat gum, if that makes sense, right? And yeah, I mean, like maybe if it was 2 uses of the strangle gum at max level instead of you having to hit the enemy multiple times. Like I kind of get it though, because like I think each time you hit them, they'll be applied with the movement speed down, so they'll get slower and slower, if I'm not mistaken. And even if it doesn't work like that, that just makes it worse. Like a lot of what Majin Buu's doing is kind of whatever. Like his rush attack is very basic, which, you know, it's fine. He just doesn't have ways to protect himself. He's very like reliant on your partner being good. Well, I think a lot of these characters could act independently of themselves. Like again, I wish that the filter stayed on, but again, let's go to technical again here. A character like Hit, I think, is able to kind of move around and do like a lot of like backdooring and sneaking, and he's able to even get a few kills himself because of the stuns and the like vision. What's the exact term? Like with his ultimate, he does actually obscure enemies' visions. Krillin is another character that obscures enemy visions as well. Krillin does quite a bit of damage. He has the mines. His destructive disc ultimate is really good at confirms. Like it covers a whole lane as well when it's maxed out. The scatter shot also obscures vision on top of that, and he has a solar flare, which could be decent in certain situations. Like none of what Krillin's doing is necessarily bad. 17, I think the only thing that's like kind of whatever to me with 17 is like his second skill here, but it could still be nice overall. And like he's doing kind of a bunch of these different effects here. He has the cooldown kind of, I guess, like the little bar where he can get rid of a skill cooldown by just using it instantly whilst the bar is not filled up when it's filled up, which is really, really powerful. Like Kid Gohan has just so much extra support, and he has just like the stun, the stagger, I mean, everything like that. No skills. Frieza's able to be really good at moving around the map, securing objectives. I think Frieza is really helpful with Zarbon now. Zarbon got buffed. Like so many of these characters are good in so many different ways. I mean, 17 also heals, except it's an instant heal that he could do, and he could kind of do his own in terms of damage and confirms. Majin Buu does not have that. Majin Buu can't really help out in the way that 17 can in that regard, right? And 17's like little shield heal is not a permanent thing, but it's still very, very useful. So I think that's where like this Majin Buu kind of falls flat. But technical, man, I mean, besides that, like all these characters are so good. I love the technical role. And you know, it's funny, I was like, I want to spread positivity, and I was kind of ragging on Majin Buu for a bit, but it's more so like he's the kind of the one that just stands out. Like, and I was highlighting a bunch of what these technical characters are really good at, man. Like I think they did a great job with this technical role. They did fantastic. Now, when it comes to tanks and damage rolls, I think it's not as mega clear cut. But again, besides, I think like the characters that I would prefer to be buffed is Cell and Zamasu. Cooler, Caulifla are both very good. Vegeta could use a little bit of tuning potentially. Baby could use a little bit of tuning as well. But they're actually still very competitive, and Vegeta is good in his own rights. Like again, like I said, like all these characters feel so different from each other. It's so awesome. The issue with Cell is that early on he's very weak. I think late game Cell could actually start to look pretty formidable. It's just early game is so important, and imagine just like having a tank that can't necessarily protect you early game. I think is quite unfortunate, honestly. Very, very unfortunate when you have someone like Cooler from the get-go, or someone like Caulifla from the start, right? It's like you only have one tank, so this guy, I think, especially when it comes to tanks and technicals, like this is where technical really stands out, because I feel like you can't go wrong with any of the technical options. Whilst with the tank options, it's like I think these two kind of stand out to me. Zamasu doesn't really do much outside of being like kind of just like a damage sponge, because like even Cooler, Caulifla both could do pretty formidable damage. Vegeta is really good at helping like your attackers kind of hold down. Like again, Photon Bomber is just busted. Like Photon Bomber is still by itself one of the best moves in the game. The issue with Vegeta is that this Energy Blast Volley is kind of whatever. His ultimate's kind of whatever. If they buff these two, Vegeta could start looking really nasty. 100%. Like if this just again restores armor upon enemy hit, if this was faster, and if this maybe gave more shield, that would be really, really good. This does restore armor as well for each enemy hit. It's really nice too. Like this is not a bad move. It just like feel like at skill level like 1, it's kind of weak. Like early on, this is kind of whatever, but Vegeta could be pretty good, honestly. Like I could see it. This guy has sauce with him, right? Like I said, none of the characters are bad. Baby has like the little possession, and he's really good at pushing enemies back. He's really good at being a little annoying fucker, right? Well, Zamasu's not really doing all of that. The thing with Zamasu, like this skill kind of is dumb, honestly. I think it allows enemies to be able to escape, if anything, which is not really like it's doing like the opposite of what like Vegeta's skill does. Like Vegeta's skill pulls the enemy in so you can get a kill confirmed. This kind of pushes them back. I think that's not good. Maybe what this should do is this should work kind of similar to Cooler's move, where it could also work as a stagger. We take a look at Cooler here. This Death Chaser is really powerful. If it maybe applied movement speed down, or if you could stagger them and bring them back, like with the double input, that could be really nice. Because the monster's like, he just needs a bit more sauce to him in terms of how he's able to operate. This is kind of fine, right? I think this move is actually, I do like this move. This is probably like my favorite move of his. His ultimate's also really good. I just think Zamasu needs a little bit more of kind of abilities and like kind of like this move needs to be reworked, really. He just needs more abilities to his kit, I would say, and then he could start being really good. Like people were really scared of Zamasu in the network test, and I feel like they went overboard with how they kind of adjusted Zamasu in terms of his health and things like that. Zamasu, like especially when we compare him to Cooler and Caulifla, he just doesn't have as many like abilities or ways to kind of, you know, hold the enemy down or take damage away from your allies like those characters do have. And it really Cell, again, just make him stronger earlier on and make his skills also regenerate bio energy, and I think Cell could start looking really good. I like the idea behind Cell, right? Maybe also buff his skill 3. I think his skill 3 could be better. If they made this better, especially early on, this could be useful. Maybe buff this skill 1, make it faster. This is, I think, fine. Honestly, I don't have an issue with how this rate smashes. I think it's pretty good. But yeah, it just the bioenergy mechanic skill should also be able to give you a little bit of bioenergy. I think that's fine. That's what I would do for Cell specifically. But yeah, I think tanks are also in a really good spot. Then we can go ahead and talk about damage. I think the last thing here. Honestly, I think for the most part, the damage roll is pretty good. They buffed Piccolo recently. Piccolo's looking quite nice, honestly. Piccolo's looking a lot better now. If anything, I would say what the damage roll needs is a nerf to a character. One buff and one nerf, I think will do. And that'll kind of balance things out by quite a bit. Super Saiyan Goku's way too strong. This guy is way too good. Kaioken is absurd. Like all, like you look at everything Goku does, nothing he does is bad. Everything he does is good. Like at best, like the passive skill is kind of like, sure, like it's useful. It's not bad. It just could help you in certain situations. It's just nothing that particularly stands out, but he does way too much damage. The Spirit Bomb is absurd. How fast it is at level like level 1 and 2. It's good at confirming like objectives, but you get this level 3, like you team wipe. This is easy team wipes, right? Kaioken, you could spam this. I don't know why you're able to just mega spam Kaioken. Keep in mind, the skill cooldown is reduced when another skill is hit. So you hit him with the Kamehameha. Like you could use Kaioken to zoom across the map. Then you reach an enemy Meteor Hammer, you could use Kaioken again. Then you Kamehameha, you could use Kaioken again to increase everything. And then you like have just like 4 Kaioken uses in like the span of like 30 seconds. Like it's actually kind of, I don't know. I don't think that's fair, honestly. If they could do 2 things. One, they could maybe fix how this works and make it like not as good, or make it so Kaioken makes you lose HP like Kaioken works in the series. I think that'd be a fair trade-off. If you lose like 5% HP every time you activate Kaioken, I think that's very fair for the amount of absurd damage this guy does. And that way it's not necessarily nerfing his, like, because I'm scared of them potentially nerfing a character and going accidentally too far. That's something I don't want. But I think something like this, where it's like the character will still perform what he does usually, it's just that he's more susceptible to be, like, he can't go in without any punishment, right? Like right now he's kind of just free. There's no, I feel like, downside to what this guy is doing, or there's nothing that you kind of have to play a certain way. Even like Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I think as a character, you know, he has, I think, a decently lower amount of HP compared to a lot of other characters, especially you could tell that end game. Explosive Strike 2 is like a decent move. You got to be careful with this guy a little bit. He can be caught, right? He doesn't have as many, I think, evasive moves, because Instant Transmission could be a decent evasive move, but like you don't want to use it like willy-nilly. And Explosive Strike, I think, could be overall good as well, but I think Goku, like Super Saiyan Goku, has way more like kind of ways to escape situations with Kaioken plus the Meteor Hammer. Like Meteor Hammer is pretty nasty. It's a very good move, but yeah, and the fact that you get spam Kaioken is so stupid. Like this guy does so much absurd, just like crazy damage. It's just actually really dumb. I think for attackers, Goku's really good. But beyond that, I feel like a lot of the attackers are close enough to each other where it's like you could have a lot of them kind of interchange with each other. I think a character that might be a little underrated is Diamond Goku right now, honestly. But the one character that I think does need a buff is probably Bojack. I think I don't even have Bojack unlocked. That's really funny. So actually, let me just mute this. The issue with Bojack is Bojack just like, I feel like I get where they're coming from with this, but this kind of is like just okay, right? I think it's just like whatever. I think his skill 1 could be really good in terms of burst damage, but there's no effects on it. This could be decent, but I think it's pretty easy to avoid a lot of these. It's so slow. Like I can't remember a single time where this move came out. I'm like, oh god, I'm in trouble. I just kind of just like, I don't know. It doesn't hit me. Like, I don't know. Like I never had trouble getting out of this. You could use the first skill 1 to explode it yourself. I don't know. Cycle Thread could be decent. Like I think this is you could argue this could be his best move. I like the movement speed down. I think that the fact that you could hit the subordinates and cancel the skill is also a bit stupid. Or you can kill the subordinates and like kind of like weaken the skill. I think that's kind of silly, honestly. Like, okay, Bojack uses Cycle Thread. Oh, I'm Goku. I just ult. you're like goodbye. His ultimate is actually just like unusable. But I think the biggest thing is his ultimate is not an ultimate. This is way too slow. It is super easy to avoid. He's just super open. Realistically, you should be able to move when you're doing this, and the energy blast should just be more connected. It's super open, like in the middle here, and you have to be like right in their enemy's face to actually hit it. But guess what? If you're right in the enemy's face, they could just vanish behind you. You know what could be interesting? Like maybe if this, even if this hits, I feel like there's nothing too crazy unless you're like kind of under leveled. And he also uses this, but if there's some way where he could also get rid of Vanish, I think that could be interesting. Like the Boar has a way to get rid of Vanish. I don't know. I think Bojack just needs, I'm not sure exactly what they will choose to do with him, but I think that while he does have the damage, he just is missing a lot of abilities that a lot of characters have. Like, let's take a look at Super Saiyan Goku. Let's literally look at Super Saiyan Goku again. He's probably the prime example of a character that he's just doing so many different things. Look at what this guy's doing right here. Let's take a look here. With Kaioken active, this applies movement speed down. This guy could stagger here with this. This gives him just all these different buffs. The Spirit Bomb is like 6 times, 10 times is better. Yeah, you can use Kaioken with the Spirit Bomb. Come on. Are you serious? Come on, man. His Kamehameha max level is better than Bojack's ultimate. Look. The range he can hit to is pretty nasty. That's really it. So just kind of wrapping this up, I just felt like talking about it in general. I will have a tier list coming out with the next few days as well. I think a decent amount of things have changed. With kind of certain characters being buffed and nerfed, and me getting a little more playtime with a few of the characters, right? So that'll be coming out, but yeah, I think really what I would say, I mean, you could nerf Cooler. I think that's fair. But realistically, I would just buff. Like what I would do is buff Zamasu, buff Majin Buu, buff Cell, and Bojack. These 4 characters. Bojack, Cell, Zamasu, Majin Buu, I think should be buffed. Goku needs to have some adjustments. I think really what I would do is just have Kaioken have some sort of drawback. So you can't just mega spam Kaioken, because Kaioken is the move that is really what's amplifying what Goku's able to do to such extreme amounts without any repercussions. Like the fact that you have no cooldown basically when you can use your skills without any repercussions, like that's something that no other character, well, I can't say that for sure. Like Trunks has a way to like restore his cooldown, 17 does, but I feel like Goku does that on another level, which I think is what really makes things for Goku really insane. But other than that, I mean, like every character is good, so that's all I have to say, man. Let me know what y'all are thinking. I appreciate y'all for watching, and yeah, again, Super Saiyan 3 Goku. We'll talk about him in a separate video, but I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.